So in this video, I want to look at a very strange game. It was a very quick game, and I'm not just talking about the number of moves. My opponent literally used 38 seconds to make all of his 14 moves. And, well, I don't think it's a surprise that he lost the game. And, well, I didn't do much better. I did almost 3 minutes of thinking, and this was supposed to be a 10-minute game. And well, it's one of those things where your opponent just keeps blitzing out the moves, and it's almost like you feel compelled to keep up the pace. And well, I think that's one of the reasons why people lose a lot of games. They have poor time management. Either they play too quickly at the beginning or throughout the game, or they just think too much for the number of for the time control that you have, and then you end up getting in time pressure, and your position may be really good, even winning, and you just make a blunder because you have very little time. So time management is actually crucial, as you will see. So I had the white pieces, and I played the King's Gambit. And my opponent goes for this line, which, well, the Falkbeard counter Gambit is a little dangerous if you don't know what to do, but if you've been playing the King's Gambit for a while, then you know what to expect. And after this move, my opponent played e takes e4, which apparently is the best move. I was a bit surprised when I analyzed the game because most of the time I get e4 instead. But after this, I just continued with my development, knight f3, so there's no queen checks along this diagonal. And here my opponent played a move which I don't think is very good, taking the pawn. I think much better is to just play knight f6. And I mean, you could try to hold on to the pawn with c4, but after c6, or even just normal developing moves like bishop d6, I think black is fine. Especially since, well, after bishop d6, the pawn on f4 will be defended. But this just looks almost like a Scandinavian or a centric game, but like a bad version of those openings. And after knight c3, my opponent played this move, queen d8. This is already a rather strange move. Queen e6 check is the most testing line. And here, well, I think most people would just play bishop e2, which is what I did. King f2 apparently is playable, but there's things that you have to calculate. Queen b6 check, bishop c5 check, so it's one of those moves that if you know it works, then you can play it confidently, because you do have threats of maybe bishop b5 check and rook e1 pinning or the queen to the king. And well, if you haven't analyzed it, then it's probably not a good idea to try it out on a blitz game or rapid game. So after bishop c4, I was already really happy with my position, and I guess my opponent didn't know this position, and he just blundered because he just played too quickly. bishop g4, and now I'm just winning. Bishop takes f7 check, and thanks for the pawn. Your king is not gonna be able to castle. And look at the evaluation. I mean, it's more than a piece. And here my opponent made another move which is not very good, knight f6, although there's really not, knight c6 is really not much better. This is a computer line which I found. Queen check, g6 is pretty much forced, knight takes, so you sacrifice a piece temporarily and you win the rook. And after knight h6, I mean, if black could still castle, which he can't, then you could make the argument that after queen e7, check, and castles queenside, then black may have some practical chances, but because that's illegal, this is just over. So after knight f6, I gave a check, not because I wanted to just check the king for no reason, but because if the bishop comes to e7, then it's going to be pinned, and well, the king can't castle anymore, so that would be a nice position for me. And if queen goes to e7, I did calculate this move, queen c8 check, which is a very strong move. The point is that you cannot move the king, you have to block with the queen. Now if I had this position today instead of when I played this game, which was, I don't know, like a year and a half ago, I probably would have just traded queens and just go for the knight fork, and thanks for the exchange. But I decided to take the pawn and play a little bit more ambitiously. So the knight has to move. So knight bd7, pretty much forced. And well, now I know that rook b8 is potentially coming. Now the engine likes the d4, and I don't mean just Komodo, I mean all the engines that I looked at, Stockfish, Ripka, they'll like d4, and at first I didn't understand why, but after d4 you can't really trade knights, because then black's position starts to look pretty ugly. But instead I played this move, queen c6, so sidestepping the attack, pinning the knight, and well, depending on what my opponent does, I made castle kingside, or I may play d4. But my opponent just played this move, queen e7, just hanging a queen, I mean a rook. And well, here my opponent resigned because again, the king can't move, you have to block it. If you block with the knight, I just take it. If you block with the queen, I still just take it, and I'm winning this rook. So yeah, time management, I mean, it's just a psychological thing, I suppose. So yeah, the game was over in, I think, 14 moves. Anyway, if you liked the video, hit the like button and share and subscribe, and thank you for watching. I will see you next time.